Bunny Story, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite fantasies that I've read this year. So I've noticed that I didn't read a lot. I didn't have a lot of fantasies that were 5-star reads. I only have 4 for this video, and I think it's because of me being a big reading slump this year that I haven't found many fantasy books that I loved. There's some that I liked but not loved, but I have 4 that I've read this year, and I probably also have read more romances than fantasy from what I can tell, but I will double check on what books that I've read this year. But I know that these fantasy books that have been my favorite that I've read this year, but let's get to the fantasy books that have been my favorite this year. So the first fantasy book that has been my favorite this year, which is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This is a retelling of a ancient fairy tale where a girl has 6 brothers who's been cursed to turn into cranes, and her stepmother cursed them and trying to stop her from breaking the curse. And I just love this book so much. I really love the world. I really love the characters, and especially the main character. Yeah, I forgot her name for a second, but I just love these characters and I love the world, and I know that I need to read this sequel because it's a duology. And then I think there was like a standalone book that takes place in the same world as this that I do want to pick up soon. So yeah, but I know that I want to read the last book of the duology, and I just love Elizabeth Lim's writing, and yeah, this has been one of my favorite books that I've read this year. And the next fantasy book that has been my favorite this year, which is A World Without Princes by Simone Shidani. This is the sequel to School for Good and Evil, which I love the first book so much. I think it was my favorite back in 2020, I believe. But if you haven't read the first book's about 2 girls who are best friends. One's supposed to be good, one's supposed to be like evil, and then they get transported into the School for Good and Evil. One is that was good went into evil, and vice versa. And I just love the series so much. I love the world, I love the main characters, and I know that I really need to read the 3rd book because after starting to read this book, it made me miss the characters so much because I really like the story and the world so much that I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to continue on with this series. So yeah, another very rare thing of some sequels that I end up reading have been 5 stars. This is one of them, but yeah, I really love this book so much, and I want to continue on with the series. And speaking of sequels, another fantasy book that I've loved this year, which is Stolen Chapters by James Riley, which is the sequel to Story Thieves. If you haven't read the first book's about a boy who's really invested in one of his favorite books, and then he finds out that one of his classmates can transport into books, but then he accidentally went into his favorite book and ruined the story, and that's pretty much how the story goes. And this is the same reason that I love the School for Good and Evil so much. I love Story Thieves so much that I've been wanting to continue on with the series. I miss the characters, I miss the world, and plus it's bookish, so of course I would recommend this to anybody who's looking for a bookish book. So yeah, I love it. I love the characters, I love this series, and I know I want to continue on with this one as well. And the last book that has been my favorite fantasy that I've read this year is Cinderella's Dead by Caitlin Barron. And this is a Cinderella retelling, obviously, but it's about with the story of Cinderella was real, but they had to follow the same traditions that happened since the night that Cinderella went to the royal ball. And we follow this main character who doesn't want to do that. She just wants to go outside of society and wants to be with her best friend, and that's pretty much the synopsis I could give you guys. I just love the main character. I really love the world. Like, I was listening to this on audiobook, but then after a while I was reading it physically, but then I'm like, no, I want to finish this book physically instead of listening to audiobook. Nothing wrong with the audiobook or anything, but I just was so invested in the story that I was like, yeah, I want to finish this book. And obviously it was a 5-star read for me, and I just want to read more books from Caitlin Barron because I know she wrote more books after this one, and I think the latest one that she wrote was like a Sleeping Beauty or a Snow White retelling. That's what I meant to say, but yeah, I'm just really enjoy this book so much that I want to read more books from this author. So that is all for my favorite fantasy books that I've read this year. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and comment down below what fantasy books have been your favorite for this year, because I would like to know. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so we have 500 post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!